All right, welcome back everyone. My name is Pritesh here with Kaizen Crypto, bringing you another video. So I hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. In this video, the upcoming Cardano hard fork to introduce token locking ahead of Goguen. So with this hard fork event, we will see codename Allegra going to integrate this feature in preparation for Goguen. Giving you all some information on how Cardano is trying to solve blockchain's biggest problems. Now with the launch of Ethereum 2.0, how is Cardano addressing some of the issues that current blockchain protocols are facing migrating over to proof of stake? Very interesting development from the Cardano Foundation developing a metadata connector for ScanTrust supply chain tracking. Now we're seeing with Goguen metadata transactions being available on the blockchain. Very interesting use case to see Cardano used for supply chains and logistics. And last up, if you all stay till the very end, giving you guys an update on what we're seeing now with K equals 500. So happy K equals 500 day. What does this mean for you if you are a delegator or a stake pool operator? So if you guys are interested in that type of content, be sure to stay tuned. All right, everyone. So to get things started, the upcoming Cardano hard fork to introduce token locking ahead of Goguen. So now Cardano is going to go through 2 more hard fork combinator events to get us to a full Goguen release. This next hard fork combinator event is codenamed Allegra. Essentially, what's going to happen with this event is that the blockchain is going to support something called token locking. Now, this token locking feature is a key piece of the technology being used to implement smart contracts on the blockchain. So one thing that's very different about this type of hard fork event is that it's not an actual hard fork on the blockchain protocol where there's actually a split within the blockchain. Essentially, with it being a hard fork combinator, so this is a term that they've coined for this piece of technology. Essentially, it allows the protocol to upgrade in a very smooth way so that there is no loss of block production on the network. Very incredible to see that the scientists and engineers have constructed something like this, because if you think about some of these other blockchain protocols, if they were to ever want to go about upgrading by bringing on new features or having some type of integration with maybe another blockchain protocol, essentially 51% of the miners would have to agree to switch over to that new protocol which supports those features. So this would essentially create something called a hard fork. Now, talking about Cardano being a proof of stake blockchain, this hard fork combinator event is going to allow for a very seamless transition. So when you hear of hard fork, essentially, it's got a pretty negative connotation to it. But in this instance, it's actually a very good thing because of the amount of science and research that has gone into creating a smooth upgrade process for this platform. So now after we have this hard fork combinator event, what does token locking mean exactly? So token locking is going to have a pretty large impact as it comes to running smart contracts on Cardano. Namely, the biggest impact token locking will have on the network is going to be seen in governance. It's going to be a very key piece of the Voltaire mechanism, the governance functionality that's supported on the blockchain. Now, with token locking, essentially it's going to happen behind the scenes and will not affect the experience of ADA holders, as Daedalus and Yoroi wallets will both be automatically updated. Now, as far as using token locking for governance, it's saying that the first time token locking will be used within Voltaire is within the Project Catalyst Fund 2 voting. So users holding ADA that want to participate in the voting process will need to lock some of their funds in order to participate in the voting system. The locked tokens will represent users' voting rights and prove that they have a certain number of votes. This means that individuals won't be able to allocate more votes than they actually hold, vote on contradictory ideas, or duplicate their votes. So this is very important if you consider something like a double spend. Token locking kind of prevents something similar in concept to that of voting. So you wouldn't be able to necessarily take your ADA, transfer it to a new wallet, and vote using your new wallet. Essentially, those tokens have to remain locked for a set period of time so that you can actually take place in voting. Very interesting to see this core piece of technology being rolled out with this next hard fork combinator. Next up, I wanted to go over this article really quickly, how Cardano is trying to solve some of blockchain's biggest problems. Now, essentially what we're seeing with the upgrade of Ethereum 2.0, we're seeing that Cardano is actually addressing a lot of these issues that Ethereum is trying to solve on the back end. So Cardano, and this is just a thought process for me, Cardano has actually done the research up front. You know, they've actually spent the time and looked at other blockchain protocols and addressed some of the issues that they were facing and what are the problems and bottlenecks that they're having to go through right now as it comes to adoption, as it comes to scalability, interoperability, and a whole bunch of other things that we're seeing now that Ethereum is having to address as it's already a successful protocol. The rate of commercial adoption wouldn't be possible without the crazy amount of scalability that Cardano promises. Unlike Ethereum, which had to change its engine mid-race, Cardano was created with an unparalleled level of foresight. So I think that's exactly the case, because what we're seeing now is that Cardano is going to have the smart contract capabilities like we're seeing with Ethereum 2.0. However, it's built already on a proof of stake blockchain protocol. It's not going from proof of work to proof of stake. It's already using Ouroboros, which is a provably secure proof of stake protocol. We're also seeing features such as Hydra, which will allow for scalability. In terms of being able to reach billions of users, having a network that can sustain the throughput of that type of transactions on the network is going to be very important for actual adoption and utility. So with a throughput that can handle 1 million transactions per second and governance as decentralized as it can get, Cardano is beginning its reign as the king of global blockchain infrastructure. So very interesting to see that. I think we are in the early days of what we're seeing happening here with Cardano. I think that Cardano, over time, it's going to become a vacuum, and it's just going to absorb so much value within the cryptocurrency industry. Really exciting times to be involved in the project, and looking forward to see what happens in the future. Now, Charles Hoskinson did actually go on to a podcast to talk more about this topic, and he explained that Cardano's ability to handle a high throughput was done by asking the right questions at the right time. So in this case, it's by asking what happens with the network when it gets to millions or billions of users. So they've actually got a scaling solution called Hydra, which is actually going to be built atop of these stake pools. Now, these stake pools are essentially validating transactions on the network, and scaling solutions such as sharding, such as Hydra, sidechains, all of these different things are going to allow for greater throughput as we see all these transactions happening on the network, especially with the launch of Goguen with smart contracts. This is going to be very, very important. Another key topic is that staking on Cardano is very attractive. It's actually got about 50 to 60% of ADA's circulating supply currently being staked on the network. What makes staking on Cardano very attractive is that you're actually not locking your tokens to be able to stake to a pool to earn rewards. And there's also no minimum to staking. So what I would reference to that is, if you consider staking on Ethereum, you have to hold about 32 Ethereum in order to create a validator node. Now, 32 Ethereum is a significant amount of capital. And if you do hold Ethereum, and if you want to participate on its proof of stake consensus protocol and be rewarded for it, you do have to be quite a large stakeholder within the network. However, with Cardano making it accessible and available to all, there is no minimum required for staking. So that's one thing that I really think that Cardano has going for it. And last key point I wanted to leave you on this topic is that part of Cardano's long-term strategy has always been to create a way that enables projects to easily migrate from other chains. So they want to be interoperable. They want to talk to other blockchains. The first blockchain it sets its sight on is understandably Ethereum, which is targeted with the launch of the ERC20 converter. So to think that we are going to be able to port these tokens over from Ethereum onto Cardano is going to be absolutely game changer for the entire industry. So I am very excited about what is to come. If you guys are excited about Cardano as I am, go ahead and let me know down in the comments section. If you guys are enjoying this video here today, please be sure to drop a like for me. And if you want to stay up to date with relevant Cardano news, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Next up, a very interesting update from the Cardano Foundation. So they have actually developed a metadata connector for ScanTrust supply chain tracking. This is a really interesting development. This was actually an article that was in the news a few days ago, and I wanted to go ahead and share this with you because if we take a look at this technology, before we get into it, I just wanted to show you that they are actually starting a pilot with Buys Wine. So Buys Wine, interestingly enough, is actually located in a region of western Georgia. And this kind of ties into what we saw happening last year. IOHK announced a partnership with the Georgian government and universities. So they have MOUs with quite a few nation states across the world. And it's very interesting now they're actually creating the technology so that they can create these pilot programs and help to actually offer real use and utility by using this blockchain protocol. Getting into ScanTrust. So ScanTrust applies proprietary and patented tamper-resistant labels on connected products using secured QR codes. These QR codes include a secure graphic in the center that gives every QR code anti-counterfeit features. ScanTrust software then traces and displays unique item information such as origin, time in transit, and which actors have been involved in the supply chain journey. So Cardano is now being able to integrate metadata into transactions. Very, very interesting use case as it comes to supply chain and logistics. There are other blockchain protocols that are also doing a very great job at tackling this problem, namely VeChain. I think VeChain is another great project as it comes to this type of use case. But cool to see that Cardano is also making tremendous progress with this initiative. Now, why is supply chain important? Well, if you think about it, according to this article, the International Chamber of Commerce expects that the global cost of counterfeit goods and piracy is estimated to reach $4.2 trillion by 2022. So if you think about the lost amount of capital by small businesses, by name brand luxury goods, all of these different types of brands that would actually pay to have a solution to prevent counterfeiting of their products. Think about the amount of capital and value that would pose to certain brands. It's a very interesting use case, and I'm excited to see this actually come to happen. Now, as far as Buys Wine, so how is this proof of concept going to integrate this technology? So through ScanTrust, each bottle of wine produced by Buys Wine will carry a unique QR identifier connected to metadata on the Cardano blockchain, allowing every bottle to be easily traced from the grape to the table. The proof of concept solution will allow for detailed data visualization built from every touch point along Buys Wine's supply chain journey. Very cool. So users are going to be able to scan a QR code using the camera on their smartphone. This will then be able to give them the relevant information to generate the authenticity behind that brand of wine. So really cool. I think this is a great initiative. I know that Cardano actually did something with New Balance using their real chain solution. So pretty cool to see more use case around supply chain and logistics. And last up, if you all stayed till the very end, thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video here today, please be sure to drop a like for me. It definitely does let me know that you enjoy this type of content. So happy K equals 500 day. The K parameter has been set to 500 desired stake pools on the Cardano blockchain. Essentially, with this initiative, it's a move to help promote decentralization of this protocol. So with this being said, another thing to note is that the percentage of blocks assigned to the Cardano community pools has also increased today by 6% instead of the usual 2% per epoch. The reason for IOHK doing this is because of the holidays quickly approaching. Here we are, first week of December. I know that Christmas is going to be right around the corner for those of you who do celebrate Christmas. It's going to be incredible to see the amount of progress that will be made as we go forward into 2021. Now, as far as K equals 500, one thing to look for if you are a delegator to a stake pool, be sure that you are checking out the saturation level for your stake pool. You want to make sure that the stake pool has no more than 64 million ADA delegated. Any more than 64 million ADA delegated would cause your pool to become saturated, thus affecting your rewards. So you definitely want to make sure that you're looking at websites such as adapools.org. There's also pooltool.io, and definitely be sure to check out Daedalus. There is going to be a new version of Daedalus that takes this new K parameter change into effect. So if you are a Daedalus user, please be sure to check that out as well. I'll be sure to leave a link for you all down in the description below. All right, everyone, that is what I have for you guys here today in this video. Again, I did hope that you enjoyed it and hopefully you found some value from this video today. If you did, go ahead and let me know down in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. All right, everyone, thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.
Sugoi.